Good morning, this is Nicholas from Gandor Gaming, and today I bring you guys my first OP09 deck of the format, that being Green Purple Limb. If you don't know, this is the first Odyssey leader, and our first Green Purple leader since Green Purple Dolphy leader to come out for the One Piece card game, and she is a very interesting leader. So basically, she has the ability that basically, she can cheat out any Odyssey character with 5 or less costs from her hand by resting 3 Dawn, and by doing so, she ramps 1. However, because of this really powerful ability, she has a restriction that any character she played, regardless of Odyssey or not, regardless if she cheats them out, comes out rested, which is a huge restriction on the leader. However, I think this deck is very strong and has huge potential in the upcoming next format in OP09, where currently she's actually the best leader of the format, which is kind of crazy. Now, this is only the first week of OP09 for them, so this can obviously change. However, it is kind of crazy that Lim, a leader who a lot of people don't think is playable in OP09, is the best leader in OP10 with just like 3 or 4 new cards. So let's get straight into this. So first things first, we're playing a really cool card from OP08 that a lot of people forgot about, that being Kaido Lin. This is a card a lot of people have overlooked, but this card's actually crazy for this deck. So this is a 10-12 that when attacking minus 10 Dawn, KO all your opponent's characters and your characters besides himself. Then you get to add 1 card from the top of your life to your hand, and then you get to trash 1 card from your opponent's life. So basically, this is the fusion of both Kaido, the 10 drop from OP01, and the Big Mom from OP03 10 drop, which is a pretty powerful effect. However, it's a when attacking effect and you are minusing 10 Dawn, so that's a big restriction. Also, because it is Kaido, it's Dark Hole, plus it also destroys your cards. However, there are ways around this. In this deck, there's a card called Nico Robin, who allows you to protect all your Odyssey cards by card effects, meaning you can do the Kaido Lin effect, destroy all cards your opponent controls, gain a life, they rip a life, and all your monsters survive, which is very powerful. However, when you're doing this effect, you have to make sure you're putting yourself in a winning advantage because you are minusing 10 Dawn. By the time you play out Charlotte Lin, they will be at 10 Dawn as well. So if you cannot close out the game in the next turn or two, then you are in a horrible disadvantage. So do keep that in mind. So she is a definite 3 of the deck. This card's absolutely insane. It's one of the boss monsters of the deck. Speaking of boss monsters, we are also playing 3 copies of Roronoa Zoro. This is one of the best OPO, I think 6 cards in the game. This is a 9 cost 9k. When attacking, you may rest 1 Dawn to restand as leader, and then activating you may rest 2 Dawn to restand as leader. Basically, he swings 3 times, which is absolutely insane. He's going to be pushing for a lot of pressure, a lot of times, and putting a lot of swings at your opponent. Very scary card, one of the best green cards in the game, and just a really great card. Our whole deck's ramping up to 9 very quickly. If you go first, you go 1, 3, 7, 9, which is pretty insane, which is absolutely kind of just an incredible ramp. Actually, it's 1, 3, and then you ramp to 4, so it'll be 1, 3, 6, 9. My apologies. And then that is a pretty fast ramp. On your 4 Dawn turn, you'll be dropping a 9 drop, which is pretty incredible. However, you do need to keep these guys protected because they do come out rested. A lot of times people just want to swing big numbers at your characters, so you gotta protect them. We're also playing 2 copies of Audio. This is the Odyssey boss monster. This card's pretty solid. So it has basically the ability that on play, basically you can restand 3 Dawn if your leader is Odyssey type. And on your opponent's attack, you can rest 1 Dawn to give your leader 2,000 power, which is a pretty solid effect. However, this is a once per turn effect on your opponent's turn, so it's just pretty strong. Overall, I'm really happy with Audio. A lot of people play it as a 4 of to 3 of in OP010. However, I think right now, with all the other cards going around, and the fact that it is searchable in the deck, I think it's a solid 2 of. You could bump it up to you. And finally, for our last boss monster, we're playing 2 copies of Charlotte Linlin. This card's pretty awesome. We all know this one's from OP08. -1 Dawn, gain a life by trashing 1 card from hand. And then you get to put a 6-cost character that your opponent controls or less to the top or bottom of their life in any order, which is a pretty powerful effect. So not only is it healing you, you're establishing a 9k body, and you're also basically removing a body of theirs. Yes, you are healing them. However, you are basically saying, look, I'm establishing a bigger body, gaining the board control, while you are losing a body, which is a pretty solid feat. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Sakazuki. Sakazuki is a pretty solid card. You could cut out 2 Linlin for Sakazuki, because this card is a pretty amazing card. The 6/7 that basically says, on play, if you have 2 or more rested characters on the field, you have to KO a 5 cost or less, regardless if it's in rested position or not. Very powerful card, and luckily for your deck, since everything goes out rested, it just means as long as you control any monster on the field that is rested, you can just play this out rested, and then it'll just KO something, which is pretty awesome. We're also playing 2 copies of Monkey D. Luffy. This card's pretty solid too. On play, if you have 2 or more rested cards, including because you played it out rested, it can clap itself. So you just have 1 more rested card. Basically, you can rest one of your opponent's 6 or less characters, which is pretty solid. We're also playing 4 copies of Sabo. Sabo is a pretty good card. Basically, allows you to have the ability to, when attacking, if you have 3 or more rested cards, which you can include himself, so you have 2 more rested cards, you have to draw 1, which helps you keep hand advantage. We're also playing 4 copies of Don Quixote del Flamingo. So Don Quixote del Flamingo is a blocker, 5/6, that says, hey, if there's 2 or more rested cards, which includes himself, you can re-stand him during the end phase. So he's a blocker that can swing, which is pretty awesome. We're also playing 4 copies of Sanji. Sanji is personally my favorite out of the 5-cost Odyssey cards. Basically, it has the ability to, on KO, either return 1 life from your top or bottom to your hand in order to play out a 4-cost or low Odyssey or Straw Hat type card directly from the graveyard, which is a pretty powerful effect. A lot of people will be swinging at your bodies, meaning this card could just flow into their body, won't give you an advantage. We're also playing 4 copies of Porcus D8. It's just a 2k for the deck, but it also has the ability to basically on play rest, if there's 2 rested characters, rest one of your opponent's 5-cost characters, which is pretty nice. It's basically a little worse Luffy, but it's a 2k, so it's better. Next, we're playing 4 copies of Nico Robin. I already kind of talked about her when it comes to Linlin. Basically, she has the ability on play, if there's 2 or more rested characters on field, all your Odyssey and Straw Hat type characters cannot be KO'd until the end of the next turn, which is very powerful. The reason why that is so good is because, again, it's great into black, because black wants to KO a hidden by a card effect, so that's pretty solid there. And it's also really good because it means we can do the Charlotte Linlin, wait till the next turn to swing a Charlotte Linlin, but use our 10 Dawn to play out her, protect our field. Then once we minus 10 Dawn, we'll have a full field. They'll have no cards on field, and we're going to win the game that way, which is pretty solid. Next, we're playing 4 copies of Crocodile. This card is pretty interesting. Basically, it has the ability that if your leader is Aussie type, this character cannot be KO'd by your leader swing, which is a really weird unable to KO effect. Basically, it says, hey, if you want to kill this card, you gotta kill it by card effect or by battle by another character. And the reason why it's good in this deck is because you want to basically cheat it out in your very first turn, because it means they can't swing into it on their 4-Dawn turn, which is a very powerful effect, meaning your body will stick, and it means you can contest them in later turns. Not to mention, Crocodile and Robin could be played off Sanji ability. We're also playing 4 copies of Lim. Lim is the searcher for the deck. She's absolutely insane. She has the ability on play, look at the top 5 cards of the deck, add an Odyssey type card other than Lim to her hand, and then basically during the end phase, if there's 3 more rested characters, which includes herself, we have to reactivate her as active, which is a pretty solid effect. Finally, we're playing 4 copies of Trafalgar Law. It's a new card from OP09. It basically says on play, with the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Straw Hat, Heart Pirate, or Lovely Kid Pirate from your deck. And, oh no, it's just Straw Hat and Heart Pirate. I was assuming it's like the event spell, but it isn't. It's just Straw Hat and Heart Pirate. Pretty solid card. Look at the top 4 add. And finally, we're also playing 4 copies of Usahaki. This is a card that came out of the structure decks. It's a 3 cost, 2k that on play, if you have 8 or more Dawn, rest an opponent's 5 cost character. That is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid. See you all in the next duel. And bye-bye.